When it comes to a reset for like the DC universe and seeing a new iteration or rendition of the Justice League, one of my biggest dreams and hopes is to see a Justice League roster akin or similar to what we got in Justice League / Justice League Unlimited cartoons back in the day, and it seems like we might actually be getting that in the future. As we know so far, characters like Metamorpho, Hawkgirl, Guy Gardner Green Lantern, and Mr. Terrific will be making appearances in Superman Legacy, as this will help solidify the established universe Gunn was talking about. Basically, how Superman Legacy will already be set in a universe with established heroes, and the fact that they might already be working together as maybe like a group or in unison, or the fact that they already exist and they already know each other, which strays away from the it's an origin movie allegations, which I really like as well. And I know I've seen a lot of people complain about the fact that they fear that the film might be oversaturated or too clustered with too many heroes in the DC catalog, but I think it's quite the opposite. I think the only purpose this serves is to have just a bunch of cameo roles in the film to show, hey, this universe is already lived in with a bunch of heroes and crime fighters out there, and the fact that you'll see them in live action is just goes, hey, these will be the actors that will play them in future projects. So like Metamorpho in like a Terrifics film, or like Hawkgirl in her own solo film, or maybe in like a future Justice League film. Same thing with Mr. Terrific, and obviously Guy Gardner Green Lantern, and maybe an appearance in the Lantern show, even though Lantern's centers on Hal Jordan and John Stewart. So yeah, it's not that they're gonna like steal the spotlight from Superman. Like at the end of the day, Superman and Lois will be the main characters of that film. And obviously it's a bit unclear what iteration of the Justice League they're gonna go for, but we already have some of the characters for the JLU lineup, because they're gonna do Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. You can't have a mainstream Justice League team without them. We already have John Stewart gonna be introduced in Lanterns. We have Hawkgirl, and then I guess all would be left is just like Flash and like Martian Manhunter. And I'm pretty sure they're gonna have a Flash at some point. It just won't be Ezra Miller. And then whether or not they do Martian Manhunter, Aquaman, or maybe Mr. Terrific is a little unclear. But a lot of those characters made appearances in JLU. Like Mr. Terrific was a big part of the Justice League Unlimited initiative. You also saw characters like Metamorpho and Hawkgirl. And this also goes in line with the fact that James Gunn said that he would be taking some inspiration from the DCAU, which, hey, I'm all ears for that. Now, there's a lot of confusion when it comes to the Hawkgirl casting that I think needs to get cleared up, because if not, I'm going to lose my damn mind. So obviously there's like a section of people that necessarily are complaining about like the whole ginger side allegations. It's like, oh, another redhead getting like race bent or whatever. But what people need to understand is that Hawkgirl and Hawkwoman are not the same person. All right, let me explain. Now, most people are probably familiar with the Hawkgirl character from the Justice League cartoon, in which it was Shia Rahal, the Thanagarian, from Thanagar, the warrior, the one with the red hair. But the thing about that show is that in the comics, she never is referred to as Hawkgirl. Shia Rahal is referred to as Hawkwoman. And the reason why that's important is because that is a completely different character from Hawkgirl. Because in the mainstream continuity for DC Comics, Hawkgirl is Kendra Saunders, who is a human Latina, not a Thanagarian like in the Justice League cartoon. So, seeing a lot of people like, oh, but she doesn't have the red hair, or she's not from Thanagar, all that. It's like, well, that's not the character she's playing. She's not playing Shia Rahal from the Justice League cartoon. She's playing Kendra Saunders, Hawkgirl from the comics, who in that iteration has typically short brown hair. So yeah, don't get that mixed up. And then I've also seen comparisons like, oh wow, y'all gave Batman vs Superman a lot of flack for having so many characters, yet Superman Legacy is gonna have all these different Justice League members show up and whatnot. And I'm just here to say that that is a very stupid comparison, and they're not even remotely the same thing. Batman vs Superman's sole purpose was trying to set up a Justice League film while also including so many plot elements that just made the film clustered. You had the Dark Knight Returns iteration, you had Lex Luthor's plot, you also had Doomsday, you also had the setup for both the Darkseid and the Justice League members, and you had the Death of Superman storyline. As far as we know, all of these cameos from other heroes in the DC universe is just to state the fact that, hey, these people already exist and they already know each other. It's just to further solidify what his superhero life is like in comparison to his Clark Kent persona, and how those two aspects of his life differ. But yeah, with all these different heroes being, I guess, introduced in Superman Legacy, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Like, literally just let him cook. Like, just leave him be, leave his ingredients. He got the utensils. I'm leaving him be. Like, I'm not expecting all these heroes to like come together in the third act and like defeat like Brainiac or Mongol or something. Like, at least I'm praying that's not the case. That would be just absolutely stupid and take me away from the film. But I trust them to do it right.